Hi, my name's Jordan, and I'm telling the story of Los Tres Cerdos, which is Three Little Pigs, and it's retold by Bobby Salinas and also illustrated by her. Once upon a time, there were three little pigs named Nacho, Tito, and Miguel, and they decided that it was time for them to go off and make a life of their own. And so, as they're packing up their things, their mom warns them to watch out for El Lobo, the wolf, Jose. So, as they go on out, El Primer Cerdo, the first pig, Nacho, decides to make his house out of straw. He buys some straw from La Vaca, the cow, and makes a nice little home for himself. And it didn't take him very long, and it wasn't very sturdy, but he thought that it would be good enough to protect him. So Jose, the wolf, comes up to Nacho's house and he says, "Nacho, Nacho, let me come in." And Nacho says, "No way, Jose, not by the hairs of my chinny chin chin." So Jose huffed and he puffed and he blew the house in. And then he threw Nacho in the back of his house in a pig pen, which he was going to cook him up later to eat. Then El Segundo Cerdo, the second pig, Tito, decides to make his house from wood. And he buys the wood from El Castor, which is the beaver. And it takes him not very long to make his house, and it isn't very sturdy, but just like his brother, he thought that it would be good enough. So he's in his house after he makes it, and Jose the wolf comes to his house and he says, "Tito, Tito, let me come in." And Tito says, "No way, Jose, not by the hairs of my chinny chin chin." So Jose huffed and he puffed and he blew the house in, and he threw Tito back in the pig pen with his brother Nacho to cook up for later. El Tercer Cerdo, the third pig, Miguel, decides to make a house of bricks. And he's a little bit smarter than his brothers, and he knew that the brick house would hold sturdy for whatever he needed it to. And so he buys the bricks from La Rana, the frog, and it takes him a while to build a house, but he knew it would be worth it. Then after that, Jose comes to his house and he says, "Miguel, Miguel, let me come in." And Miguel said, "No way, Jose, not by the hairs of my chinny chin chin." So Jose huffs and he puffs and he takes a deep breath and he huffs and he puffs again and he cannot blow the house down. And he gets so angry that he decides that he needs to figure out a different plan to try and capture Miguel. So Jose invites Miguel to go pick corn with him at 9 in the morning. And Miguel agrees, except Miguel is pretty smart, so he thought that Jose was probably trying to trick him. So Miguel goes alone at 8 in the morning, and he gets all the corn that he wants, and he returns home before 9. And Jose realizes what Miguel had done, and he's a little angry, so he decides to try again. So Jose invites Miguel to go pick apples at 2. And Miguel goes alone again at 1, gets all the apples that he needs, and returns on home before Jose gets there. And Jose is pretty mad at this point, but decides that he's going to try one more time. So Jose invites Miguel to the fair at 2 p.m. the next day. And again, Miguel agrees, but he goes alone at 1. And Miguel loses track of time a little bit. He's having a really good time at the fair. And as he's leaving the fair, he sees Jose, and he wants to hide from him because he doesn't want him to capture him. So he jumps inside of a barrel, and he rolls down a hill, and he starts rolling faster and faster and faster until he runs into Jose, and he nearly flattens him like a pancake. And then Jose is so mad that he thinks that he's just going to have to break into Miguel's house in order to capture him. So he jumps inside of the chimney, and he falls into a big boiling pot of green chili stew. And before Jose can get out of the pot, Miguel has enough time to run on to Jose's house and rescue his brothers, Tito and Nacho. And that taught Jose a lesson. And then Tito and Nacho made their houses out of bricks in order to stay safe and to stay away from Jose the wolf. And they all lived happily ever after.